Hello, everybody. I'm Melissa, and welcome back to Book Bar, and welcome to my June end of month wrap-up. Sorry if you can hear the lawn guys in the backyard. I don't really have another time to film, so I gotta do it now, and it is what it is. But in the month of July, I read a total of 23 books. 14 of them were read in the second half of the month. Well, 13 were read in one DNF. And the first 9 will be in my mid-month wrap-up, which I have linked above. And we're just gonna go ahead and get on into it. If this is your first time watching a wrap-up of mine, I go in order of how I completed the books. There is one book on here that I started on the 1st, and I didn't finish it till the 29th, so I was just reading it very, very slowly. Didn't really have a ton of time. Like, I kept getting pulled into like wanting to read other books and not picking that one up. So, but I still, you'll see. I'll get to it when I get to it. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just get on into it. The first book that I finished in the month, second half of the month, was The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I read this for my in-person book club. This is Anna and Liam. It's a marriage of convenience that Anna believed was a divorce, that they had divorced, but turns out they're still married, and Liam needs Anna to go with him to a wedding of his sister to prove that they are still married to get his inheritance. And yeah, vacation vibes, a wedding on the beach, and it was very much like a family drama, but it was a good time. I had fun with it. 4 stars, easy read. Then I read Forbidden King by Laura Pavlov. I read this for my new release vlog, linked above. 5 stars, loved this so much. This is Kingston and Sailor. It's forbidden, obviously, as the title suggested. Best friend's brother. No, brother's best friend. Best friend's little sister. Brother's best friend, forced proximity. Kingston and Sailor have always had like a special bond, and he has a secret tattoo for her. It is beautiful, fantastic, loved it. Small town, of course. Then we have Behind the Camera by Chelsea Curto, I don't know. This was also a 5-star. I read it for my sports vlog, links above. This is a football single-dad nanny situation. Obviously, forced proximity. It is forbidden because they technically work together. Maven is a camera person for the football team that Dallas plays for. And so, there's a rule that there can be no relationship between members of staff and players. And so there's that forbidden aspect. But of course, they end up living together and things go from there. And it is beautiful. I loved it so much. Then I read Rafe by Rebekah Weatherspoon. This is a single mom nanny romance, and I really enjoyed this. And I want more single mom nanny romances. So if you have any, let me know. But this follows Rafe and Sloan. And Sloan's nanny just like up and left. And she gets home, and her 2 6-year-old girls are like at home alone, and had been for a couple hours. And so she ends up like panicking, and ends up, Rafe is his family that he was working with has just moved to Australia. And so he's kind of like he's thinking about changing up careers, and he gets a call asking him to fill in for Sloan, and things go from there. It was so fun. His relationship with the girls was adorable. They were like instantly into him and wanted him around, but I had a great time with it. Then I had my 1 TNF of the month, and that was His Best Shot by Jay Nicole. I read this also for the sports vlog. I read a good chunk of this. I read 61% of this. I probably could have counted it and like given it a star rating, but like it probably would have ended up being like a 2-3 star, and I just didn't have the care to want to continue. The heroine, I didn't even write the main characters' names because I just didn't care enough. I think her name was like Amani or something. And his was Julius. I do remember that because they called him JR. And the heroine was just like overly like reluctant, and then like all of a sudden she's like telling him to make love to her, and it's like literally 2 days ago, or not even 2 days ago, like literally like 30 minutes ago, you were saying, oh, I don't think I'll give him past today. Now you're telling him to make love to you? I couldn't do it. It pissed me off. So I DNF'd it. Then I read Distance by Luna Mason. This is a mafia over-the-top alpha hero. He's a boxer. This follows Sienna and Keller, and Keller ends up getting a tattoo for Sienna. He was like very much possessive, obsessive, but that's okay. It was fun. I did hate the third act conflict a lot. Like it bugged me and it like brought it down. It probably would have been a 5-star. I had needed like a good like over the top mafia, and I mean that's the thing about mafia romances is I go into them just like with like the expectation of them just being fun, and that's what this was. But the third act was a little too much. So yeah, 4 stars for that. Then I read The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson, and I give this one 3.5 stars. This follows Chris and Daphne, I believe. I read this for the new release vlog. And Daphne catfishes Chris for most of the story, and it really, really, really bugged me. Like, that is my least favorite trope. There was a couple times I thought about DNFing it because of the catfishing. But yeah, 3.5 stars. It is baseball, so I do love that. And she heckles him. It had a great premise. Baseball player and the heckler falling in love. Fantastic. But yeah, didn't love the catfish aspect. Then I read Charming Your Dad by Sarah Blue. I read this. This was on my TBR kind of. I had an age gap and it was either older or this. This one had an audiobook, older did not. And one day I had time to listen to an audiobook. Like I was like cleaning and doing other things. And I was like, I'm just gonna put on an audiobook so I can do more than just sit down and read. And I listened to Charming Your Dad. And it was a delightful paranormal. It did not take itself too seriously. It's 3.5 stars. It was fun. I think it would have been better had it just been like a smutty little novella instead of having like all this extra plot, but it was fine. I still enjoyed it, and I probably will continue the series. I'm kind of sad that the next book doesn't follow Sienna's best friend / cousin and the 2 demons. I'm sad that that's not the next book. I think it's like the 4th book, which isn't out yet, but yeah. This is a paranormal age gap romance. I didn't write the characters' names down. I don't know why. But it's a demon and a witch. It was fun. It was a good time. Ex's dad. Love that. Had a great time with it. It was Blair. Was the hero. Or it was the heroine. And Dex. Blair and Dex. Those were their names. But yeah, like I said, it didn't take itself too seriously. A little bit of BDSM in it. Good time. Easy audiobook, fun audiobook, so yeah. I don't really have much to say. Then I read Puppy Love by Elle Sprinkle. I was failing at Pride Month and had read like nothing queer, which is terrible. I mean, Rafe is, but like I was not doing well at reading LGBTQIA+ books this month. And I was like, I need a couple of them because not just because I should, but every month I try to read different books and different, underrepresented authors and underrepresented characters, marginalized, that's the word, marginalized communities. So I read Puppy Love by Elle Sprinkle. This is a debut, new release, sapphic romance following Cam and Violet. And I enjoyed it, but it was just a little bit too long. I felt like there was for a book that was really following the characters, there was too much plot and like side quests and like not side quests, but like just stuff going on in like the background that I was like, I don't understand why we need all this. It is not necessary, but it was fine. I gave it 3.5 stars. I read it for my new release vlog. I have full thoughts up there. It is another forbidden romance because they are coworkers and there's a rule that they are not allowed to sleep together. Then I read Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. This was also a sapphic romance that was delightful and very smutty. This is Cassie and Aaron. This is like this book came out a couple years ago and I'd heard about it, but I just had like not gotten around to it. I couldn't find it. I try to use the library unless I absolutely love a book. Unless it's an indie. I try to use the library for traditionally published romances just because I never know. Like some hit really well, some don't. And so I couldn't find it from the library. And then I ended up getting like another library card and I found it at that library. So I finally was able to get it. Finally got my hold in from it because there was still like there's a long wait list on this, which is great. But this is Best Friend's Mom. So Cassie and Aaron. Cassie is the she's in college, and she one night goes out to a bar, just wants to like get out for a little while, get away from the school and the wildness, the craziness of parents weekend. So she goes to a bar, and there she meets Aaron, and her and Aaron have some fun times in the car, and then they go their separate ways. Aaron's like, this one night, I'm here for my daughter for our parents weekend, and she's like, oh, okay. Turns out that Aaron, so then the next day, Cassie is woken up by her best friend Parker and is like, I need you to go to brunch with me and my mom because my mom and I don't have the best relationship and I need a buffer. Well, turns out that Aaron is Parker's mom. And yeah, they agree, like nothing can happen again. Well, then Parker asks Cassie to go home with her for Christmas. So she spends 2 weeks with Aaron and forced together, and yeah, things go, they realize that they might be more attracted to each other than just the one night. So it was a good time. I love a good one night humor, and that was it. Then I read When You Left Me Speechless by Jess and Christina, and I read this also for the new release vlog, and I absolutely adored this. This was 5 stars. It was fantastic. This is Logan and Poppy, another forbidden workplace romance. I read a lot of those this month. I don't know why, but I did. Poppy is she's wanting to be a speech therapist, and she's going to school, and she needs like a placement, and to like get hours of like working and shadowing, and her one falls through, and it's like right before, and so she's like frantic and ends up getting one with the school. Well, it turns out that the school Logan is a teacher there. Logan and Poppy had like one night where they didn't like sleep together or anything, but they slept next to each other. Their 2 best friends like hooked up, and they just kind of like watched movies and passed out. But they act like they don't know each other, and then like they talk about it, and they realize that there's feelings there, and they act upon them, and it was just so good. I loved it so much. Yeah, I give 5 stars, obviously. Then I read Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. This is the book that I like read all month. It took me like all month to read because it just was doing other stuff. But this follows Selina. Yes. Selina and Atreus. It is enemies to lovers, obviously. This is not my favorite Carissa Broadbent, but it was still fun. Sent to kill you. She's sent to kill him, the Vampire Conqueror, and he has horns. It was a good time. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I give it 3.5 stars, rounded it up to 4 because it is Carissa Broadbent. I do love her, but it just wasn't my favorite Carissa Broadbent book. But I did have a really good time with it, and I'm glad I read it. Now I only have 2 more books in like the Mortal Enemies to Monster Lovers, but I've heard one of them is terrible, so probably not gonna read that one. But yeah, I'm excited. I finally got this one done. I'm now caught up on Carissa Broadbent's books, so I am sad, but yeah. Then I read Skeletons of Society by Maravalla. I read this because I was thinking that this was the book in the Dark and Quirky spring box. It is not. It's book 3, but that's okay. I'm glad I read book 1, so I can continue and read them all in order. This is another, so it's Ryan is a member of the cartel. She was taken in by them when she was 17 and has become a La Brujita de los Muertos or something like that. De Diablo, something. Basically, she is the witch of the cartel, and she has earned a name for herself for being a complete baddie, but her name is Ryan, so people think that she's a guy when they first hear her. Then there's Gunnar, who has some secrets, and I was shocked by what those secrets were. I had no idea. And Gunnar he's the Sergeant-at-Arms for the Skeletons of Society MC, and them and the cartel are going to be running guns together, and Ryan and Gunnar are tasked to be together and work closely together. Very instant lusty, instant attraction. Murder is fun. Mafia or cartel and MC, it's great. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun time. 4 stars. Nothing too serious. Again, just a fun dark romance where the heroine was just a complete, like, the heroine wasn't like the damsel in distress. She was a baddie. Like, loved Ryan. Probably one of my favorite female main characters I read in a while. Then the last book that I finished in the month was Ruined by Sarah Vaughn and others. This is a, like, Bridgerton era historical romance comic or graphic novel, and it was a good time. It's Andrew and Catherine, and they were put into a marriage of convenience. She goes and lives with him. Things happen. They become friends. They become more delightfully spicy. Like, not spicy, but like on page stuff. So kind of crazy that I got it from the library, but yeah, it was fun. Nothing crazy. I gave it 4 stars. If there was more, I'd probably read them. I had a good time. I'm glad I read it. But yeah, those are the 13 books and 1 DNF I had for the second half of the month. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me the speech bubble emoji for when you left me speechless, because I loved that book. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. It really helps me out, and I'll talk to you all in the next one.